Ai put taulla, ne.
That's all right. No, not after what happened yesterday.
No, is this enough?
Shh, don't call it. I'm all right. No, don't call the ambulance, all right? That bloody woman here, Mara. Oh, they don't care, these people. They don't care.
I need help.
Shh, shut up. That's it.
Please, I call ambulance now.
Just...
Yes, Westmead Public Hospital refused to give the dying man medicinal cannabis, used all around the world safely. He's written numerous times to Westmead Public Hospital, Chief Executive Graham Loy, General Manager Rebecca Tyson, all the board, the corporate, the body corporate, the corporate, the whole lot, the ex officio directors, all the honchos, all the hangers on. He wrote to Premier Berejiklian. He wrote to Health Minister Hazard. He needed this medicinal marijuana. He's take the endo, but it makes him crook. Doesn't do much good. Medicinal cannabis used all around the world, oncologists, but they won't give it to him. It's like they want to torture this man. Looks like that anyway, but I don't know what these people are doing. They're just cruel, very cruel. Very cruel. But look, hi everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hope everybody's doing well wherever you are. Look, I just want to talk a bit about this culture of bullying, which General Manager Rebecca Tyson, Chief Executive Graham Loy, the hospital board, ex officios, chairman, what's the chairman? Chairman, Premier Berejiklian, Health Minister Hazard, you know, the federal member, North Sydney. He's got a pipeline to the Health Minister, Greg Hunt. You know, these Hazard, Berejiklian, and the local member, LNP, his name escapes me at the moment. You know, Westmead Hospital is fantastic. You know, the local member rings Greg Hunt. Oh, look, we need this, blah, blah, blah. You know, Berejiklian, Hazard. This is the Liberal National Party. I'm not saying Labor's any better, but, you know, they're in denial. Rebecca Tyson, General Manager, wrote this man a letter that said, it's basically she blamed him. Stop using your recording device. You know, but look, this culture's been going on. It's not my opinion. It's in the public domain. Previous movie, I noted Dr. Cole there, Michael Cole, I think, Michael J. Cole. Sounds like a fantastic doctor. Very, very loyal and dedicated. The people I've just mentioned, he complained to them for 10 years. And they, well, it looks like they bullied him. subjected him to psychiatric testing like they did to this man. Can you believe that? Because he complained. And at any rate, look, I'll just give you a bit of a snapshot of what's going on. Is it too much here to read? You know, for every complaint, there's probably 1,000 that's in writing, 1,000 that haven't complained. But these people they've probably complained to Westmead Public Hospital, you know, the heavyweights there, like the above ones I just mentioned, and you know, just fobbed off like they've done with this poor dying man. Nowhere to go, and the shred the complaints. Oh no, all good. But I just this is back in 2018. Westmead Hospital's ICU, bullying and harassment by senior medical staff. How's that? Health Minister, I call him the pretend Health Minister, Brad Hazzard, said he was made aware of the issue and called the hospital's senior manager into his office. And in the strongest terms, he said this, how this could have occurred. Here's where he bullshits. I value our medical specialists. This is a real mouthful. But they also have to understand that this is the 21st century. And there is absolutely not 1 millimetre of room for a culture of bullying or failure to provide respect. Really, Mr. Hazzard, sounds like you're lying again. If you're not, just put it in the comments and correct this channel. Anyone here that's listening, put it in the comments and we'll correct it if you can substantiate things. Anyway, we go on. Hazzard says, he claims, I have given very clear direction that hospital management are to pull whatever resources they need to determine what the cultural issues are. Really, Mr. Hazzard? Mr. Hazzard demanded a report back within a month. But I was told it has taken years to develop this culture. Yeah, correct, it is. 20 years. And it may take some time to reverse. Not with you there, Mr. Hazzard. The time frame they gave me was not a time frame I accepted. I told them I wanted them to go full steam ahead to get these issues sorted. No, Mr. Hazzard, you didn't sort nothing. Same as your predecessor, Gillian Skinner. Incompetent fools. Dangerous fools. That's what it looks like to me. But if I'm wrong, will you correct me? And here's a good one. Acting Chief Executive, he's very good at acting, Graham Lloyd, he claimed the Western Sydney Local Health District has taken immediate and decisive action. The WFLHD does not condone bullying of any kind. Really, Mr. Lloyd? What a load of bloody bullshit. Again, if I'm mistaken, you know, you can substantiate it and put it in the comments and we'll do correction. You know, in fact, we invite you, urge you to come and comment. The same with Hazzard and Berejiklian. Urge you to comment here and correct us if you can substantiate that we're mistaken. At any rate, this clown, he goes on here. You know, hang on, I just got to stroll up a bit. Very clear direction he's given, eh, Mr. Hazzard? Demanded a report. Yeah, bullshit. Look, New South Wales Hospital Health Check survey 2017 found an endemic culture of bullying and harassment within the WSLHD. They demanded that the WSLHD commit to an independent external investigation into the culture across the LHD, including at administrative and executive levels. Well, did you note that, Mr. Loy and Ms. Tyson? This will provide a fair and comprehensive, transparent process which will allow all forms of bullying behaviours to be identified and then stamped out. We cannot support the flawed assumption the culture of bullying is concentrated solely within the senior medical staff, ICU. Rather, it is a culture that affects the entire district. The survey of 1,000 CCIM fellows and trainees found 1/3 reported being bullied in the previous 2 years. At corrupt Westmead Hospital, nothing changes. Been going for 20 years. These people here, Hazard and Berejiklian, Graham Loy, Rebecca Tyson, she's doing the investigating, nothing to see here, and the board, the corporation, the corporate chairman, they don't see nothing. They ignored this man's letters, urging them, to have a look at these things. Just fobbed him off. Refused to give cannabis. What about giving him some cannabis, Mr. Loy, before he dies? You enjoy seeing people suffer. My God, it looks that way. How do you sleep at night, you people? Anyway, let's just scroll up a bit. Oh, yeah. This in 1999, Professor William Tarnow Mordi, he was appointed director of the neonatal unit at Westmead Hospital. From the first week, Dr. Cole believed Professor Tarnow Mordi lacked clinical experience or clinical competence. As a doctor, he attempted to alert Westmead Hospital administration about the dangers faced by severely premature babies and sick-term babies in the neonatal unit. And what did the people at the top, what did they do about it? Jack shit, nothing. Can you believe that? I tell you what, I can't think of anyone who would accept that. And, no more spin and bullshit from the Premier or from the Health Minister or from the, the hospital board, the Chief Executive, Mr. Loy, General Manager, Ms. Tyson. No more bullshit, okay? People know, okay? You people, all of you, need to resign and the place needs to start over again and have a proper investigation. You people are dangerous. That's what it looks like. But if I'm wrong, I'd say if substantiated in the comments section. Most welcome. Dear, oh dear. Anyway, this poor Dr. Cole. Oh, gosh. Where are we? There's a lot here, but I'll put it in the description in this movie too. It is terrible here. Professor Mordi, the protected species by the look of it, insisted on waiting 8 hours for for whole blood before performing emergency exchange transfusion for jaundice, which had already reached a level of 850 in a newborn baby. Baby G, there is an increasing likelihood of severe brain damage. The higher and the longer the jaundice level is above 340. For goodness sake, the baby suffered severe brain damage, mental retardation, cerebral palsy, seizures, deafness, blindness. A bit like these people responsible here that don't want to know nothing and perpetuating this evil. That's what it looks like to me. Again, if I'm mistaken and substantiate, and we'll correct it. In Dr. Cole's opinion, the severity of baby G's condition was preventable by earlier exchange transfusion. And he proves his case, and it goes on and on here. And I mean, come on, what are these people bunging on? They think everyone come down the last shower. Just here on the... Many nurses and doctors said this much the same thing as Dr. Cole, but they were terrified. And who can blame them? Yeah, I quote, I have a career, children and mortgage to consider. I'm not willing to speak up. They saw what happened to anyone else who spoke up, and it scared them. Scared them shitless, scared the tripe out of them. Enough to silence them permanently, as you can see. 2021, and this is back in 2000. The greatest danger they faced was appearing to side with someone who had made trouble for those who have power. That's right. They're siding with this poor man when he went there for treatment, only help, nothing else, for his cancer pain. The seemingly vindictive consultant in the emergency Dr. Ms. Mi Ling from China and her other junior doctors, obviously shit scared to cross her. Hey, Mi Ling, no one checks the qualifications. They just come in and say, oh, good, you can work at Westmead Hospital, teach at Sydney University. Go for it. We're short of people. We don't train them anymore. The standards has dropped at the uni. Everyone gets passed. You know, that's common knowledge. So she diagnosed this man, and he thinks, you know, when you join all the dots and in context, she done it on purpose. You know, because he'd complained about another Chinese doctor, Dr. Kelvin Lowe. Anyway, she said, we've got to give this bloke psychiatric testing. All of these, you know, inappropriate questions. The man was obviously not in need of psychiatric testing, and neither was Dr. Cole. I think all the above mentioned, they need to be psychiatric tested and sectioned into Cumberland Mental Hospital. What the hell do you think you're doing? Anyway, we'll scroll up ahead here. It's just pathetic, this. Pathetic. We get so many people contacting me about complaints there. Anyway, there was an external review of the unit by Professor David Tudhope, a paediatrician from Brisbane, and nurse Sandy Berdemeyer. You know, they done a independent review. They didn't get Rebecca Tyson, the general manager, to do it. You know, I think that was Dr. Cole's organised that. Yeah, they fully vindicated. they fully vindicated Dr. Cole's concerns about Professor Tarnow Mordi's care of the babies in the neonatal unit. Professor Tarnow, he sounds like he's a proper professor, not a Professor Messer like some of them at Westmead Hospital. Professor Tarnow found that Professor Tarnow Mordi lacked clinical skill and should not be allowed to manage any baby in the unit. The Health District merely removed Professor Tarnow Mordi's clinical privileges. Really? And just he continued to work. You know, Dr. Cole, his view was the SWLHD district was ill-advised to allow Mr. Tarnow Mordi to remain as director of the unit and to continue to experiment on babies in the unit until his contract ran out at the end of 2009. Goodness me. Again, if any of the above mentioned or, Professor Tarnow or something, he thinks I'm mistaken there and wants to substantiate and we'll do a correction, just please, I urge you to note it in the comments section. Anyway, we'll keep scrolling down and I think I'm going to have to make 2 movies out of this. There's that much... Is that you better add this. The Health District and the Area Human Research Ethics Committee, chaired by Professor Stephen Leader, did not act on concerns that babies were being experimented on by Professor Tarnow Mordi after he had his clinical privileges removed. The baby's parents were not fully informed of the professor's reduced status, nor were they informed that the health district refused to allow him to practice medically. Refused to, and they just turned a blind eye to this bloody evil. What are these, wake up to yourselves. Yeah, where we go here. And I note Dr. Michael J. Cole, he sounds like a pretty decent doctor, very good doctor. He should be the chairman of the board. The chief executive. You think having someone like Graham Loy there, bullshit artist, Now I know Dr. Cole, Michael J. Cole, LRCP, MRCS, FRACP, and even a LLB. He'd gone. I don't know if he's watching this movie. He'd be most welcome to comment there, and if there's any mistakes and substantiate and correct them, and he can have his two bobs worth too at the same time. But good on you, Dr. Cole. Great doctor. I wish you were looking after this poor dying man. Dear, oh dear. Anyway, I'll keep scrolling down, but I'm getting tired of reading all this. It just doesn't stop. It's still happening there tonight, even in their glossy new building. Or maybe they've pulled their horns a bit now that someone's speaking out, but that sort of happens. Here's a patient survey. Independent, not conducted for feedback by Rebecca Tyson, who is looking for the answers that she wants. And the rest of them will see you later. The patient survey. Hardly surprising, patients in Western Sydney are the unhappiest in New South Wales when independently and honestly surveyed. See, Rebecca hasn't got a tentacles in it, neither has Graham Lloyd. By the look of things, Westmead Hospital has received one of the worst report cards in the state from a patient survey, with dissatisfaction experienced across at least half the 22 survey measures. The survey found disproportionate negative complaints from the patient. But hey, nothing to see here by the above mentioned, you know. Westmead Hospital is found to be the worst performing emergency department in New South Wales. You know, a lot of these victims of Westmead Public Hospital, I think they'd not only say it's the worst performing emergency department in New South Wales, but I'd say in Australia. What a disgrace. And they cover this crap up. That's what it looks like. And, you know, again, if I'm mistaken, please substantiate it, and the channel will be happy to you know, do corrections, because, you know, we want to uphold rightness and credibility, transparency. But anyway, we'll scroll along. Oh, this is a nice one. Hospital bureaucrats are urging the discharge of patients to free up beds. How about that, Gladys and Brad? And Mr. Chief Executive Graham Lloyd and General Manager Miss Rebecca Tyson? What do you think about that? You can, you know, if it's mistaken, but this is in the public domain, and you know, sometimes it might be mistaken. If it's mistaken, please substantiate it and note it in the comments section. And again, as always, this channel will do corrections, and happy to do it. At any rate, I scroll on. Poor woman's 2 breasts are cut off today and sent home tomorrow to get infection and complications. I know of this case, a personal friend of mine. She's never been the same since. Gosh, she had to be readmitted to another hospital. Goodness me. It's just the tip of the iceberg, with most probably thousands. You cannot put pen to paper for every complaint. You know, and any complaint that's you know, it's glowing, you know who done that. Don't have to tell you that. Yes, I'll just give you this. This is, I'll tell you what. You know, I have trouble reading this. Here's a woman complaining. This review has been a long time coming. My elderly father was admitted to the geriatric ward, and while some of the care was good, at other times it was heartbreaking. Like the time I asked a nurse, could she please move my father up in the bed, as he kept on slipping down, as he had no bottom. He was on the bones of his arse. Had no bottom, because he was on a feeding tube. She turned around and said to me, I have already moved him once. I'm not going to move him again. Bugger off. That's my opinion. A few times I left this hospital crying on the way home, she says, on how my father was treated. I'm sure Westmead Hospital is a wonderful hospital if you are young. I don't know about that. And she goes on, please treat your elderly patients with respect and equal to any other patient, and not with the mentality they have had their life or they are a nuisance. Yes, yeah, spot on. Still the same. And just remember one day, your parents, grandparents might be in that position one day. But here's is that the hypocrites, like the chief executive, Mr. Graham Law, he's bragging his mantras on his, on the paraphernalia, hospital stuff, and making himself look smelling like a rose when he's a skunk. That's what it looks like to me. And he's saying, telling all the people working there, doctors and nurses, and I quote, "What if it was your mum?" Unquote. He wants them to treat the people there like it's their own mum or family or something. Mr. Loy, I don't believe a word you say, or what Rebecca Tyson says, or all of the above mentioned. Anyway, we'll scroll on. I don't like these mouse scrollers. Here's a good one. Here's another one here. Goodness me. My wife felt very bad pain in her back and abdomen. I immediately took her to the emergency room at Westmead Hospital. They injected and took a blood sample. The nurse said that 1.5 hours later, the test result will come. My wife was still in pain. Very few were in the emergency room that night. I saw the nurses and staff talking and laughing from 4 a.m. I was looking for the ward doctor and the nurses. The nurses said that one person was in front of me. My wife had no place to lie down in the waiting room. She had been injected with morphine, and despite all the pain and confusion, she had no place to rest. One of the nurses, who unfortunately hid his name, I could guess who that might be. No names need to be mentioned here. Hid his name under his, she says, etiquette, but I believe that she means epaulette or something, and did not give me his name for the night shift nurse to take over the next shift. Did not answer anyone at all impatiently, and was just in a hurry to say goodbye and laugh until 8 a.m. See you later. The doctor did not see anyone, and the patients were still waiting. And when I protested, no one answered. And they kept saying that you should wait. Yeah, that's what they do. We went to the emergency room to see the doctor if my wife was going to wait a long time. So I would stay at home and visit our family doctor the next day. In response to her protest, the head nurse said, "You go and complain about your own. So that you go and complain about your own so that the authorities understand that we have less manpower. If they mean more shifts, more income and less work." Really? What a load of bullshit. They don't need more power. And she goes on, they want to brutally put more pressure on patients to make more money. Exactly. You have to ask Mr. Hunt about that in Canberra. And Ms. Berejiklian and Mr. Hazard. They just want to make money on patients. They see patients as easy dollars. Doesn't the hospital management have the power to manage this unit? Well, apparently not. The above mentioned. Look, if she's mistaken, and please substantiate in the comments section, and this channel you'll be happy to change it. That's what we want to do, correct things. Unlike some people, no names need mentioned. He took the injector, I think she means cannula, which made my wife very upset and stressed. And it sounds like he done what that clown Dr. Chris Cheeseman done to this poor dying man. Ripped it out of his arm, and Mu Ling there, she's giving him the nod. Full bag of drip solution, and the palliative care doctor, Catherine, the name escapes me, Allsop. Used to know a priest named Father Allsop at Granville a long, long time ago. I don't know if he's still around, but if Catherine's related to him, I'll tell you what, well done, mate. At any rate, the husband took his missus to family doctor. The doctor gave her sedatives, anti-stress medications to calm her down a bit. Is a question of why the management of this unit treats people like this. Well, all the above mentioned, they need to answer that in the comments section. And again, if it's, you can substantiate that she's got it wrong, mistaken, we'll correct things, don't worry. And she goes on, I think the star, this is like 5-star rating, is too much for them. If I could give them -5 stars, that's what she'd do. Mate, I'd only give them bloody boot them out the door. I wouldn't give them any stars. Anyway, that's just what it looks like to me. Here's another one. This goes on and on. I went to emergency tonight at 6 p.m. with my mum, 88 years old. And after her GP referred her for a CT scan, brain scan, urgently, after a fall and symptoms of a possible subdural hematomas / oedema, the first impression of the place, it was really crowded with not a seat available for the 88-year-old woman. In 5 minutes, we went through the triage nurse and then asked to wait. I'll just correct you. Went to the triage nurse and the triage nurse told him to wait outside. I wonder who that could be, Julia. I don't know. If that's you, Julia, put it down in the comments section. There's plenty of Julias there, I can assure you of that. Wait outside. The waiting room, the old 88-year-old lady is, dear, oh dear. Anyway, out in the waiting room, scan, to be ordered during that time. It reminds me of this patient there that complained and they shredded it. He was waiting for a scan for 12 or 14 hours and they dehydrated him and said, oh no, we give him hydration. What are you talking about? Well, that's what Rebecca Tyson claims, the general manager. But anyway, she might she should put a comment here, and if it's a mistake there, well, the channel will, of course, correct it. Rebecca. Hang on, and here she goes. People coughing, nauseating, even vomiting in plastic bags. No social distance at all. 3 to 5 hours of waiting. I went to the nurse desk and he said, it was he. Oh, well, I wonder. I don't need to mention names. I got me suspicions there. He could not, the nurse could not accelerate the process. He said, my mum increases the dizziness, the process, and yet my mum increases the dizziness. But he said an hour and a half to be treated by doctor, 6 hours passed and a new nurse called on my mum in for a new assessment. well, this is what Julia likes to assess everything, you know, and tell her to bugger off by the look of things. Yeah. Anyway, you get the picture. No respect at all for fragile elderly people who need prompt attention. No, not according to the above mentioned. It's all good. Nothing to see. So, you know, again, you know, if this lady's mistaken, you know, please substantiate it in the comments section and the channel will clarify things properly if that's the case. But it doesn't look like it by what's going on here. There's a definite pattern here. It's been going on for 20 years by the look of it to me. What do you think about it, you people watching? This is a place where you can get the most horrible hospital experience when you require emergency medical services. This is another comment. Well, you can't disagree with that. It's like a hellhole there. It's like the devil sitting in the corner there. Goodness me, I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, you know, this Mei Ling and Cheeseman, Chris Cheeseman, registrar, and Mei Ling, the consultant, you know, someone they don't like, or, you know, that's complained. It looks like giving a bit of payback and, you know, give him serious psychiatric testing. Goodness me. And here's all the above mentioned and General Manager Rebecca Tyson, Chief Executive Graham Loy seem to be condoning this. Oh my God, you know. Look, I'm going to have to do another movie. This one's going on too long, but thanks guys for watching and have a great night. And before I go, a big shout out to Alice and Donald. All right, guys, have a good night and stay safe.